Here are 9 WWE Hall of Famers who won titles after being inducted. Number 9. Alundra Blaze. For years, the name Alundra Blaze was blacklisted from WWE after what the former Medusa did during the Monday Night Wars in 1995. Joining WCW despite holding the WWF Women's Championship, Blaze was coerced into dropping the title in the trash, but 20 years later was forgiven by the company and inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania 31. As a real-life monster truck driver, Blaze has had plenty of success out of the ring, but returned to WWE in 2019 to capture one more title. Appearing in a backstage segment at Raw Reunion, Blaze was able to get a submission victory over then 24/7 champion Candice Michelle, becoming the third female title holder, and was also the first person to ever win the green and gold title via submission. Like many reigns, Blaze's time as 24/7 champion wouldn't last long, as the former Medusa attempted to replicate her infamous trash can segment from WCW, but was stopped at the last minute, though we'll get to that later in the video. Number 8. Roddy Piper. Despite being one of the most recognizable and iconic WWE superstars of the 80s and early 90s, Roddy Piper rarely held championship gold. For years, the only piece of hardware on Piper's trophy cabinet was the Intercontinental Championship that he won in early 1992, but that changed after his induction into the WWE Hall of Fame in April 2005. In October 2006, Piper was one of 3 choices fans could select to team with Ric Flair at the Taboo Tuesday pay-per-view, and after defeating Sergeant Slaughter and Dusty Rhodes with 46% of the vote, teamed with the Nature Boy to defeat the Spirit Squad. Though this match was a feel-good moment for Piper, Flair, and the fans, it wouldn't last long, as just 2 weeks later, the duo would lose the gold to Rated RKO on the November 13th edition of Raw, and Piper would never make it to the match. In kayfabe, the Hot Rod was attacked backstage by Edge and Orton, but the truth is that Piper was pulled from the match due to what was first believed to be kidney stones, but later revealed to be cancer, proving that there are some things that even the Hot Rod couldn't settle in the ring. Number 7. Pat Patterson. The legendary Pat Patterson will go down in history as the very first Intercontinental Champion in WWE history, but that isn't the only title he held in the company. After retiring as a full-time wrestler in 1984 and being inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1996, Patterson would return to WWF television in the Attitude Era as part of Vince McMahon's Stooges and would aid the chairman in his wars against the likes of Steve Austin and The Rock. In June 2000, Patterson would become the oldest hardcore champion in history after he broke a bottle over the head of his friend and fellow stooge Gerald Brisco on the June 19th edition of Raw. 6 days later, in a match that we strongly suggest you don't check out, Patterson defended the title against Brisco at the King of the Ring in a hardcore evening gown match, which ended with neither man winning the title. After a painful 3 minutes of the 2 senior citizens in drag, it'd be Crash Holly who would win the title thanks to the 24/7 rule, though Patterson would once again hold championship gold, winning the 24/7 title during the Raw reunion in 2019. Number 6. Ted DiBiase. As we've already mentioned, Alundra Blaze captured the 24/7 title in 2019 at Raw Reunion, but the WWE Hall of Famer also lost the title to a fellow inductee. After winning the gold from Candice Michelle backstage, the former Medusa was prepared to throw the title in a trash can, emulating her infamous WCW segment, until Ted DiBiase interrupted the festivities. Offering Blaze a handful of cash, DiBiase bought the 24/7 title for himself, though this wasn't the first time he had tried this technique. At the 1988 main event, DiBiase tried to do the same to purchase the WWF title from Andre the Giant, but this title change was voided and never made official. Over 21 years later, though, DiBiase would be able to have his master plan work, and he would hold the title for a brief period of time before losing the gold to Drake Maverick, starting the former rockstar Spud's 4th reign with the gold. Though DiBiase's reign was brief, the fact that he was able to win the gold without taking a bump goes to show the power of his wealth and proves that even after his Hall of Fame induction in 2010, everyone still has a price for the $1 Million Man. Number 5. The Fabulous Moolah. In modern years, the WWE's women's division has been treated as equal to the men's, but it wasn't too long ago that this level of respect seemed impossible. In late 1999, then WWF Women's Champion Ivory was disgusted by how the women of the company were viewed as little more than sex symbols, and while this would make her something of a feminist icon today, in the Attitude Era, she was seen as a heel by the fans. At the No Mercy pay-per-view, Ivory was forced to defend her title against the Fabulous Moolah, who had previously held the gold for over 10,000 days from 1956 to 1984, and thanks to some interference by Mae Young, won the title from Ivory. While her first reign with the gold would last decades, the second reign for Moolah would last just 8 days, as she would lose the gold back to Ivory on the October 25th edition of Raw. Though her reign was brief, the damage to Ivory's credibility had already been done, and it would be many, many years before the WWE would start pushing their women as superstars instead of just divas. Number 4. Gerald Brisco. Though Gerald Brisco held the Hardcore Championship in 2000 and also enjoyed a lengthy, successful career before then, it wouldn't be until 2008 that the legend joined his friend Pat Patterson in the Hall of Fame. Being inducted alongside his brother Jack as the Brisco brothers, Gerald would continue working as a backstage agent in WWE until he suffered 3 strokes in June 2009 that forced him to give up the role. In March 2010, Brisco returned to the company as a talent scout, but he would have to wait until Raw Reunion in June 2019 before he next tasted championship gold. In an off-air segment, Brisco defeated Patterson to win the 24/7 title during the show, but would soon lose the title to Kelly Kelly, the first woman to ever hold the green title. With his win, Brisco became the third man to win both the Hardcore and 24/7 titles after Patterson and R-Truth, and although the 73-year-old has been officially retired for 35 years, you never know when Brisco's body shop will show up next. Number 3. The Rock and Roll Express. It's hard to have a conversation about the greatest tag teams in the history of professional wrestling without mentioning the Rock and Roll Express. Together, the pairing of Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson have held gold in promotions such as the AWA, NWA, and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, so it made sense when the pair were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2017 by Jim Cornette. Although many stars would see being inducted into the Hall of Fame as a sign of their career's end, that clearly isn't the case for the Rock and Roll Express, who continue to wrestle to this day despite both men being in their 60s. What makes this even more impressive is that both men can still go in the ring, and the pair have worked recently in the NWA, capturing the NWA World Tag Team titles from the Wild Cards in October 2019. This marks the pair's 5th reign with the titles, and both men have shown no sign of slowing down in other companies as they appeared during AEW Full Gear in October 2019. During the show, Morton would deliver a picture-perfect Canadian destroyer to Santana, followed up by a suicide dive to Sammy Guevara and Ortiz, proving that age is just a number for the Rock and Roll Express. Number 2. Bret Hart. For years, Bret Hart was seen as one of the most gifted wrestlers in the ring, but after a series of injuries, personal tragedies, and a concussion in WCW, the Hitman hung up the pink and black for good in 2000. After a frosty induction into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006, the Hitman would return to the company 4 years later, and it wouldn't be long until his Hart Dynasty, comprised of Davey Boy Smith Jr., Tyson Kidd, and Natalya, won the tag team titles from The Big Show and The Miz. Unsurprisingly, this irked The Miz, but when he was forced to defend the US title against any member of the group, the A-lister cunningly chose to face the then 52-year-old Hitman. This would quickly backfire for The Miz as he would lose the United States gold to Bret in the Hitman's homeland of Canada. And while Bret would relinquish the title the next week after being appointed Raw General Manager, the Hall of Famer showed why he is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Number 1. Goldberg. The most recent Hall of Famer to win a championship after their induction, Bill Goldberg's Universal Championship win over The Fiend at Super Showdown was a shock for many fans. Not only is the WWE Hall of Famer in his 50s, but after his incredibly sloppy match with The Undertaker at Super Showdown 2019, nobody expected the WCW veteran to get another major push with a World Championship. Not only this, but The Fiend has been one of WWE's most popular characters since its debut in the summer of 2019, so the decision to take the title off of him was controversial to say the least. In the days and weeks following Goldberg's win, there's been plenty of speculation on why the title change took place, with one popular theory being that the company didn't want to have Roman Reigns booed at WrestleMania when he challenges for the Universal title. Whatever the truth is, it seems that Vince McMahon is still more than willing to give titles to Hall of Famers and part-timers, even if the vast majority of his fans would rather see the gold on someone they get to see every single week.